My guest tonight is the CEO of the Young Politicians of Canada, president of the Canadian Defence Coalition, and the next generation of leaders. Please welcome via satellite, Jayden Braves. Jayden, are you there?
Hello, hello. Good to see you.
How are you?
Great, and it's a pleasure to be on from Toronto.
Thank you. Yeah, you're from Toronto. You got a lot of snow up there, but you are wearing an extraordinary shirt that I want you to show everybody watching the show right now. What does it say?
Indeed, it's not just an American flag. Don't worry. 11th province, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, so I saw you wearing that on TV. I think it was just a little over a week ago, and I'm like, this guy's perfect to come on the show. And I want to jump right into it because you're 16 years old. You have a resume better than a politician, and I want to talk to you about your views and your insights on what's going on out there right now. So you're the next generation of politicians, and I want to know what you think is the biggest issue facing the Ontario election that nobody's paying attention to.
Well, that no one's paying attention to. I think it's got to be climate. And I know it sounds like such a cliche for a young person to be like, "Oh, the climate." But if we actually take a look at provincial politics right now and we see what action has actually been taken or tried to be manifest, it's not much in the province. And we have a lot of control over that in Ontario. We have a lot of trade, we have a lot of programs, we have a lot of things that facilitate a large energy industry that we're not really so cognizant of. What we saw Doug Ford do in the past few years is spend $30 million, which is not a large number compared to what he's been spending, but of taxpayers' money to reverse climate change programs that the Kathleen Wynne administration was implementing. And so to see that drastic of a change, while my generation is going to have to inherit all of this climate degradation, we're not even aware how serious it's getting, and it is
Mhm.
getting worse and worse. Uh,
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
just want to jump in. I want to jump in here quickly because, as far as I'm concerned, and I might have worn the wrong jacket during the Ontario election period. I don't want to give anything away. Uh, I don't think there's anything being done about climate.
Nothing. No,
No.
the government, it is not, and it's also not on anyone's priorities. And what I'm so shocked by, and I've been, a long time green in various capacities. I used to sit on federal council with Elizabeth May, but I was so shocked by Mike Schreiner having the climate is actually the third point, with healthcare and
Mhm.
housing is the first two, and he's the Green Party. And meanwhile, NDPs aren't really discussing it. The Liberals aren't really discussing it. And it's just interesting when we had, the 2019 climate strikes and everyone
Mhm.
was really engaged and everyone was really fired up. And all of a sudden, we have almost none of it. We don't have it in anyone's platform practically. And we don't have promises from the provincial government and the current government that they'll actually do anything about it.
Yeah, and I mean, you made a great point about the Green Party because I don't think any of them are talking about climate right now. None of them are. Nobody's
No,
talking about it. I didn't really hear much of it come up at the debates. A lot of it was personal attacks and
it was disgusting. It was ad
yeah.
hominem. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get your take on that in another segment, but I really just kind of want to think. So like, there's a lot of things going on in Ontario. You're the next gen of voters, okay? Like I'm 35. I'm almost 20 years older than you, okay? It doesn't look it. Drink a lot of water, maybe not Toronto water. So like, when you see this, what's at the top of your mind?
A couple of years ago when we were involved in the fires were happening and it was really smoky, I remember going outside and being afraid because we were breathing in this campfirey smell in a
Mm.
place where you expect to smell cherry blossoms and, whatever else in High Park. And I'm worried that in 20 years, when I'm either, doing something else in some capacity, or my peers are running to be members of provincial parliament and we're leading in a number of different ways, I can't leave the house without putting on a gas mask. And the weather is so unbearable that we need special
Mm.
capsules in order to function. And there's no oxygen. And things are running out and people are dying and we have climate refugees. And
So I want to just jump in here quickly because so you actually believe that with the state of the environment now and with the lack of action going on, you think that that's what it's going to end up: gas masks and sulfur in the air and all that stuff.
well, I mean, it's funny. I don't think I know. It's
Okay.
it's something that we know scientifically is
Mm.
bound to happen at the rate that we're going. It's something that we understand based on forest fires, based on the rate of climate change, based on how Canada is changing in relation to El Nino, and now the regurgitation of El Nino, which is changing things, drastically. It's predicted it will happen, And if we don't do anything about it, we're not going to see a change.
All right. Well, it's so hard for me to respond to that because they were also saying this to me when I was 14 years old and none of it happened. But we're going to cut to a commercial break quickly. And when we come back, we're going to talk about 16-year-olds voting in Ontario or Canada.